Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Sunday before the Zohr Salat. Sunday, the 13th of Rajab, 1444, corresponding with the English date, 5th of February 2023. This Majlis took place at the Jama Masjid in Nanota, Saharanpur, India. Hazrat Wala starts off by quoting the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, ittaqillaha haythuma kunta wa ajmi' ittaqillaha haythuma kunta wa atbi'is sayyi'ata al-hasanata tamhuha wa khaliqin nas bi khuluqin hasan. Friends, elders, and near and dear ones, I have come here before, and I am not worthy of this. However, it has been decided, and I've been made to sit here on this chair. In front of me I have Fudala and people with expertise and excellence. However, with the barakat of the Buzrugan-e-Deen, you people are sitting in front of me. I would say some few things. Maulana Qasim Saab's, this is Nanota. I want to speak about his sirat. What was his tawakkul? What was his tawazu? What was his waqi'at, etc. His trust in Allah, his humility, etc. And because the fact of the matter is that kisi ka jism mutabarrak nahi hota hai. A person's body is not something that we would derive barakat from. However, uski ta'limat mutabarrak hoti hai. It is the ta'limat that gives us barakat. We should make amal on the ta'limat. We should keep the ta'limat in front of us. It will be beneficial for us. Many people, they would keep the body in front of them, rather even start worshipping it, and they remained empty as ever. To our akabirin, their foundation was on tawheed, the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and ikhlas and lillahiyat. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam laid down the foundation of the Kaaba of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And till today we see the tajalli of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raining down upon the Kaaba. We see how much the kiraya, the expenses to go to Haramain from that time and that age, and now how much it has increased. But then till today you would find people still going to the Haramain. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam laid the foundation of the Kaaba with ikhlas, sidq and lillahiyat. Maulana Qasim Saab laid the foundation of Darul Uloom Deoband, and he done it with ikhlas. From there, great commentators of the Quran, traditionalists of hadith and buzrugs were created. Hazrat Qari Tayyib Saab had some mazmoon, an article, and Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saab read this, and he goes into this hal and he says, this is ulum qasimiyya, that this is the ulum of Hazrat Maulana Qasim Nanotwi rahimahullah. And I'm not deserving of this, but such honorable people like you are here waiting for me to say something. The first time when I went to Gujarat, what can I say? First a letter comes, and then Maulana Abdullah Kapodra writes, and then I read it and they say that they are calling me to run a khanqa, and I say to myself, no man, this is the letter, but it should be addressed to somebody else. I was confused, and what happened after that is eventually when I go there and I see the reality of that, and I see waiting there the sons of Maulana Abdullah Kapodri rahimahullah. Therefore, we should adopt tawazu and tawakkul, humility and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the essence of the tariq and path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saab, towards the end, this is what he stressed about. Now Maulana Qasim Nanotwi, he was a Jami', rather he had both of these qualities entrenched in him to its fullest point. On one occasion, Maulana Qasim Saab was going, and somebody screaming there from the back, Mauli Saab. And he just continued and he went on his way until the person caught up with him and said to him, but I'm calling you, मैं आपको बुला रहा हूँ, तवज्जो नहीं दे रहे, देख भी नहीं रहे, you're not looking, you're not paying attention, but I'm calling you. So he goes on to say that तुम किसी मौलवी को बुला रहे थे ना? Weren't you calling me some Maulvi or something? मैं कहाँ मौलवी हूँ? Where am I a Maulvi? He did not even understand himself to be an alim. Allahu Akbar. You know Amirul Riwayat. Read it. Go through it. The waqi'at of our Buzurgan-e-Deen. And today, a person gets offended if you call him Maulvi. He wants you to call him Hazrath Maulana. He wants you to call him Hazrath Maulana. You know the waqiyah of Hazrat Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, when Sayyidina Ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma seeks permission to come into her presence and to visit her, and at that time she was in her last moments, and then she bluntly refuses. No. Eventually Ibn Mas'ud even then intercedes and says, but he is Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam's uncle's son, it's his cousin. Eventually she says, but you know, if he's got this habit, whenever he comes he starts showering praises on me, and I don't want that. I don't want that. Nevertheless, very reluctantly she gives permission, and Ibn Abbas radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma then enters. When he enters, he starts praising her left, right and center. You the one that Allah ta'ala revealed ayat of the Quran regarding you. You done this, you are like that, this is your legacy, this, that and the other. And what was it? She said, why are you praising me? I'm on my way out. I'm going to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I wish to meet him. That Nasyam Mansiya, gone and forgotten, that nobody knows when Aisha came, who she was, when she went. Allahu Akbar. And the ulama even speak about this. Hazrat Maryam alayhi salatu wasalam uttered these very same words after such trials, tests and tribulations came upon her. They said such type of allegations against her, that where's this child from? What did you do? How come? This, that and the other. At that time she wished that she wasn't even born, and she said those words. Hazrat Fatima radiyallahu ta'ala anha, look at her sirat. What was it at the end? What did she say? When she asked and she was told and she was informed that in Habsha the women were taken like this here, and another cloth was put over them so that the figure of the body could not be ascertained by the passer by. And then that was her wasiyat, that let me go like this here. Look at Hazrat Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, when she remarked about Hazrat Safiya, that look at her, she's like a dwarf, tingni hai. And then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, no, oh Aisha, today you have uttered such a type of word that if you have to take it and put it into the waters of the oceans, it would even pollute that water. On one occasion, Hazrat Tanvi, his wife said something to him regarding certain person. Nevertheless, just after that, this person then passes by. One of the people just there in the khanka, and he stops him and he says, listen, hey, 1 minute, my wife is saying this about you. Nevertheless, after that, she was embarrassed and she said, but why did you do this here? This is our talk and this. And no, she said, it's necessary. He said, it is necessary. Let me make safai. What is this about? And listen, it was that of Islah and Tarbiyat for his wife as well. Today, our condition is such. A person gives in the masjid, and after that, if his name is not mentioned, he becomes upset. But the sirat of our Buzurgan-e-Deen was what? That of Nasyam Mansiya, total self-effacement. They humble themselves totally and completely. On one occasion, Hazrat Maulana Gango, he says that saying Allah just once is better than this entire dunya and whatever it contains. He used to go on to say that make dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if it is with the zaban, and even though the heart may not be accompanying that type of dhikr, make the dhikr of Allah. Allah ta'ala will send this uzw and this organ, the tongue, to Jannah. Now tell me, if Allah ta'ala sends this tongue to Jannah, will He make the other organs of the body go to Jahannam? No. Allahu Akbar. Now look at how easy they had made the tariq for us. These were our akabirin. And they all went to Hazrat Haji Imdadullah. What was it for? For this very same nisbat and the connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Maulana Ali Mia Sahab asked Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahab on one occasion that, Hazrat, you made ruju to Maulana Badr Ali, but at that time there were so many akabirin, Hazrat Tanvi was there, this one was there, that one was there. He said that, let me tell you, it is this in short. One, it was that of munasabat. I had munasabat. And the other one is that Maulana Badr Ali had a ajib wa gharib nisbat. Ajib wa gharib nisbat ke hamil the. He was not very famous and people did not know him. Yes, he was Fari from Jamia al-Azhar and he was a Hafiz of Bukhari Sharif. Allahu Akbar. So I did not look at this year that he had shohrat and fame or not. I had munasabat with him and he was a bearer of the great nisbat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So these people, when they seen nisbat, then they did not see anything else after that. They did not see anything else after that. On one occasion, some person came and he left a whole pouch of so much of money in the shoes, in the sandals of Hazrat Maulana Qasim Sahab. He exited from the masjid. He did not even ask who left this here, whose it is, nothing this or that. He took it out of his shoes, he put his shoes on and he walked. This was the type of tawakkul they had in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and this type of independence. Today, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has left such a legacy of them that we speak of them today. Hazrat Maulana Yaqub Sahab was such a great personality. Itne bare aadmi. I'm still reading his maktubat. You know, listen to his one malfuz. He says this path to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is so long and so difficult that if you have hundreds and thousands of years, you will not be able to traverse it and reach Allah. But then look at the other side. Spontaneously, immediately after that he says, but if it is the karam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and his gaze of mercy on you, then in minutes, in seconds, you can cover this path and reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is how simple they made it for us. Hazrat Khaja Muhammad Masoom used to say, Gar na khaaste daad ne daad-e khaast. If Allah Ta'ala did not want to give you something, then He would have not created thirst in you in the first place. Now who is this? Hazrat Khaja Muhammad Masoom, 900,000 murids, 7,000 khalifas. Allahu Akbar. And he is saying this year, today there is no talab. That is the problem. You know, many people used to say that Hazrat, we are coming. And Ramadan would come and they would not pitch up. They would not arrive. And then Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to then say, if there was talab, then that talab would have brought them here. There must have been some weakness in their talab. And Hazrat Khaja Muhammad Masoom used to say, talab chu bar jane talib mustawli bi shawad. Mi shawad. That when this talab and this thirst and enthusiasm engulfs the person who is giving who has the person who has talab, when it engulfs him and it completely overpowers him, then no matter which mountain is in front of him and no matter which ocean is in front of him, it is nothing. He will go over that and he will reach his destination. When a person has talab, then everything would be made easy for him. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to go on and he would take the name also and he would say, Qamar Zama, Tawakkul and Tawazu. Tawakkul and Tawazu. And you would reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Your path would be made easy for you. People used to say that Hazrat was very maybe harsh or crude. I understood him to be absolutely soft. When I look at his ta'aleem as well, and even there, On one occasion, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab said to someone, listen, go there and explain to him this and that and the other. So he goes there and then he starts reprimanding and this and that. So he goes on to say, मैंने तो कहा समझाने के लिए कहा, डांटने के लिए तो तोरी कहा. I went and I told you that listen, you must explain him. I didn't say you must scream at him and yell at him. He had so much of love for the talibeen and those who used to come. No alim used to come except that he used to give him 10 rupees at the time when he was departing. In that time, it was a considerable amount. This was his jude and sakha, his generosity. On one occasion, Maulana Anzar Shah called me in seclusion and he asked me, Acha ji, मौलाना शाह वसीउल्लाह साहब लोगों को देते थे जब सब दूसरे लोग लेते थे. That listen, he used to give people when it was common when people used to go and see pious people, they would go and give. But Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, he used to be the one who used to be giving the people. And I said to him, yes, that was his jude and his sakha. The person who adopts this fana'iyat and annihilation of himself, self-effacement, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives such a person progress and tarakki. ये लोग मिटाए हुए थे तो अल्लाह ताला ने उनको बढ़ाया. You know, people used to say that I am a Qasimi, and Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Sahab used to say that this person is saying that I am a Qasimi. But listen, we have to adopt the akhlaq, the atwar, the mizaj, the temperament, the character, the way, the style of Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Qasim Sahab. He used to make such type of zikr that if anybody passing by would be just glued there and then, he would just be glued to the ground. He would be left standing. He would not continue in his path. It was so electric and it was so effective that it left those people just there and there. We say Hujjatul Islam. We should also say Hujjatul Iman. Look at his Iman. We should even say Hujjatul Ihsan of Maulana Muhammad Qasim Sahab Nanawatwi Rahimahullah. So we say Qasimi. Are we making the zikr that Maulana Muhammad Qasim Sahab used to make? You know, Hazrat Maulana Gangohi, when he became a murid, then he made zikr that morning at the time of the Tahajjud, and Hazrat Haji Imdadullah said, Rashid Ahmad, you making zikr like a Purana. Now that was also there, that he could understand that this person had been making zikr for such a long time. Tawakkul and tawazu. So this was the ta'aruf of our akabirin at Deoband. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab made such a ta'aruf, introduced us so deeply into the akabirin of Deoband. So this was that the qualities that Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Qasim Sahab had of tawazu and tawakkul. If we adopt these qualities today, tawakkul, our connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would be corrected. Tawazu, our relationship with people would also come right. This dunya will become a better place to live in. Inna lil ilmi tughyanun kama hiya lil mal. Verily, for knowledge there also comes rebelliousness, just like how rebelliousness comes to the person who's the possessor of wealth. And Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab used to also go on and add to that, وَكَذَا لِلْعِبَادَةِ, that people become rebellious when they make little bit of ibadat. So, the essence here, asal, is nasty and ajizi. This knowledge that you have, attribute it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then there will be no tughyan, there will be no rebelliousness in you. And these things, abhorrent characteristics that take us away from the inayat, the compassion, the mercy, the gifts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we should stay very far away from it. Allah ta'ala, let us be considerate and take into consideration the adab of this tariq to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, like how a doctor is so careful about all these rules and this and that, and then eventually what happens? He becomes the doctor. So we also, if we are religious regarding these adab in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then we will also make qalbi tarakki and ruhani tarakki. We will get qurb to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and gain closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So today we are saying Qasimi, we are saying Rashidi, but we need to get the nisbat and the connection with these akabirin of ours and what was their life. Hazrat Maulana Mohammad Hussain Alahbadi, when he called Hazrat Gangohi and Hazrat Gangohi came and he said that make some dhikr or say something. Hazrat Gangohi ascended the mimbar. He sat down and he said one time, just one time he said, Allah. But there was so much of power in that the entire masjid became heated. And people tarapne lage, that people went into such a spiritual state that they were left restless. So there's so much of noor in this knowledge. There's so much of noor in this ibadat. Allah Ta'ala hum sabko in ulum qasimiyya se nawaze. Allah Ta'ala bless us with this ulum of Hazrat Maulana Qasim Saheb. It wasn't just that cement and that brick of the structure there. It was something much more than that. And it was the ruhaniyat. Sirf in pattar ki shakal nahi, ruhaniyat ki shakal mein. Allah Ta'ala give us that. You know, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb used to speak so much about these shuyukh that I have such a dili ta'alluq, qalbi ta'alluq with all these people. I was just saying yesterday or the other day that in Tana Bhawan, I remember those malfuzat of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb used to say that in the Khanqa there, that ek int zikrullah se munawwart, that one brick was illuminated with the zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I can most definitely say the same for Darul Uloom and Mazahirul Uloom. You know, I went to Indore. Just out of Indore, near there, all those places have become dilapidated. Masajid, closed. Madaris, and there were such great personalities there. When we spoke about this there, the local people began weeping profusely. I consoled them and I said, listen, Allah Ta'ala does not destroy His own commodity, His deen, etc. No. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala transferred it. Today you would find it in Darul Uloom, Mazahirul Uloom. Allahu Akbar. So that khairat and barakat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala transferred it. If you go to the place of Hazrat Maulana Shah Waliullah, today a hospital is built there. But that noor and fuyuz and barakat is transferred somewhere else. Allah Ta'ala give us afiyat and give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of keeping ta'alluq with our buzrugs and with the path that they brought and they showed to us. We need to take that path forward. We need to give it, progress it. And we do not have to even confine it only to this or only to that. This path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is wasi'. How can we confine it? Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of staying in this path and walking this path. You know, Shaykh Qawamuddin Mighayat, Shaykh Qawamuddin used to say that our foundation is based on three: Kitabullah, wa Sunnat Rasul, and Sirat Salaf. It is the Kitab of Allah, the Sunnat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it is the beautiful biography, our Buzrugan Deen, what life they lived, the life of Quran and Sunnat. Keep the sirat of the Salaf in front of us, and their names or this aslaf of ours needs to come over and over again. In our Dars-e Bukhari, it cannot only be Ibn Hajar and Qastalani bring the names of our Salaf, our aslaf as well. When these prominent people came from Misr back in the day to Darul Uloom Deoband, what did Hazrat Anwar Shah Kashmiri had to say? He had to tell them, this is what he told them, that my asatiza were like this, they were like that, our shuyukh was like this, they were like that, they done this, this was their life. Allahu Akbar. So you people have come here, and it is because of your khulus and your sidq that I have said even so much. I'm not well myself. I can't even read my salat standing. Hazrat Wala is saying, the last time I came here, Hazrat Wala then says in the end, I spoke about the waqia of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, and I just want to repeat that waqia again, that there were two sons of a magician, and then the father died, the magician himself dies. This was in the time of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam. Nevertheless, these two sons, they go to the graveside of their father. They start addressing him and say, oh father, listen, now you died, you passed away. Now at least tell us something. Was Musa right or were you right? What was it all about? And then he goes on to say that, listen, I can't tell you much about this and that, but do me one favor. Go to Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, and try and snatch away his asa and his staff. If you are able to do that, then remember he is an impostor. And if you are not able to do that, then remember genuinely he is a true messenger of Allah. Nevertheless, they go. Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was resting in the desert. He had his asa dug into the ground at his head side, and he was sleeping away. They come tiptoeing, and they try to take this. The minute they put their hands onto the asa, it turns into a huge serpent and starts chasing them. They made tawbah from that and they accepted. But this is what Maulana Rumi is saying. But he was an imam in taking out the nata'ij, making akhz of the nata'ij, that what was the sum, lesson of all of this, what do we learn? And he goes on to say, and making tabsira, he says, I look at this waqia and then I say that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam also is making istirahat. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is peacefully resting in the Rawda Mubarak, and in his tomb, in his Qabr Mubarak, and his mu'jiza is alive with us here today. Allahu Akbar. Just like the mu'jiza of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was awake, while Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was resting, the mu'jiza of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is awake, alive, rather with us today, even though Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam is resting. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb used to say, listen, tomorrow I'm going to give you people some nashta. The next day would come and we would wait, we're going to get some mitai, this, that and the other. And after that, he would read a hadith to us, he would explain it to us, and then he would say to us that, do you think this is some ordinary nashta or simple nashta that I've given you people to eat now? The hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do you think that there is anything greater on this earth than the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Allahu Akbar. Let me tell you about Ibn Taymiyyah. He was a great Sufi. Hazrat Tanvi used to say, khashin, like a coarse, crude type, hard type. But he was a Sufi. But listen to this here of his. He used to say that when I miss out my dhikrullah and my ishraq salat, I find weakness in my body. So much so, to that wazifa of his, he used to say, hadi ghadwati, that this is my breakfast. When I leave that day out, that day, I feel weakness. Hazrat Maulana Habibur Rahman, he's leaving, but he says, he's a muhaddith, Allama Zaman. He's saying to Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Saheb, Hazrat, I'm going now, but the next time I come, I'm gonna bring a hadith for you. Allahu Akbar. He never came after that. Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Saheb passed away. But this was the qadr that these great people had for the hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There is an exchange and a price that we can put to everything other than that of Quran and hadith. There's no badal, and there's no exchange for that, and there's no price that we can put it to it. It is priceless. Now, let me just read the hadith that I quoted to you. Ittaqillaha haythuma kunta. That fear Allah wherever you may be, on the land or at sea, on the ground or in an aircraft, wherever you may be. And listen, on the basis of being a human, you did not fear Allah, due to which you committed a sin. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam even gave the ilaj, and the answer to it, he says that وَأَتْبِئِ السَّيِّئَةَ الْحَسَنَةَ تَمْحُهَا, that follow up the sin with a good deed, it will wipe it off. So he gives the ilaj as well. وَخَالِقِ النَّاسِ بِخُلُقٍ حَسَنٍ, that mix with people, meet with people with the best type of character. Allahu Akbar. What a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Another hadith, إِذَا قُمْتَ لِصَلَاتٍ. This hadith, so much it is enough for us to love our lives. Another hadith, إِذَا قُمْتَ لِصَلَاةٍ فَصَلِّ صَلَاةَ مُوَدِّعٍ. When you stand up for salat, perform a salat as it is your last and farewell salat. وَلَا تَكَلَّمْ بِكَلَامٍ تَعْذِرُ غَدًا. Do not say something due to which you have to give an excuse tomorrow. وَأَجْمَعِ الْأَيَاسِ أَمَّا فِي أَيْدِي النَّاسِ. And become despondent regarding the possessions that people have with them. Now we spoke so much. Let us make dua now. All those who are sick, Allah Ta'ala give them shifa. Some women folk also came and they had this type and that type of problems. Allah Ta'ala also sort out their problems. So we spoke about the rahmat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Tanzilur rahmah inda dhikri salihin. The rahmat of Allah ta'ala descends at the time when we mention the salihin. We spoke so much about the salihin. Now let us make dua. Allah ta'ala will accept our duas. Allahumma allif bayna qulubina wa aslih dhata baynina wahdina subul as-salam wa najjina min adh-dhulumati ila an-nur wa jannibna al-fawahisha ma dhahara minha wa ma batan wa barik lana fi asma'ina wa absarina wa qulubina wa azwajina wa dhurriyyina وَتُبْ عَلَيْنَا إِنَّكَ أَنْتَ التَّوَّابُ الرَّحِيمُ. Many people are writing kitabs, they brought it here. Allah Ta'ala give them jazai khair. Allah Ta'ala do not make us the target of the enemies. Allah remove our difficulties. Allah bless us with His love and His nisbat. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of following the life and the example that our akabirin lived, because they lived a life of Quran and Hadith. They were amil bil Quran was sunnah. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.